You guys want to see what happens when you let your hair air dry? Right there. Hi guys, it's Peg. I am coming from a new location with another set of history shelves behind me, and that is the name of my channel, History Shelf. But yeah, new location upstairs. Wacky hair tonight. Don't care. Anyway, let's see here. We've got a massive gratuitous book haul, which I promised you guys, and part one is here. So, without further ado, let's dive right in. First two books have quite a theme here. Very excited to show that here we go. I've got Adam Smith, Father of Economics by Jesse Norman. Jesse Norman also wrote a recent biography on Edmund Burke, the conservative 18th century intellectual, British intellectual, politician. I also want to read that one, but this one is on, sorry about that, Adam Smith. I've been wanting to read his Wealth of Nations. You know, I graduated at the end of August, so I was really just bombarded with things I had to read for class and my research paper, and so something heavy like that, or something that really requires a lot of thought and note-taking, haven't tackled yet. So I thought a biography on Adam Smith would be a nice, easy way to ease into the topic of his work, of economics in general. I am not too unfamiliar. I read a great book, Economics, A History in One Lesson, Economics in One Lesson, or something like. It's a classic, supposedly. I'm sure David Murphy knows about that one. I think he might have recommended it too. I read that years and years and years ago. But anyway, so I've got this relatively new biography by Adam Smith. This came out just last year. And again, from the place that I bought it, HamiltonBook.com, Basic Books is the publisher. I think I got this for $8, brand spanking new. So, pretty pleased about that, guys. All right, so the next one is also a book on Adam Smith, but it's a small little paperback, The Authentic Adam Smith, His Life and Ideas by James Buchan. That's how I'm pronouncing it. Anyway, it's a nice little overview. Says here, his name over 2 centuries later has become a catchphrase, and whose work has been cited by politicians such as Margaret Thatcher and Ronald Reagan. He gives an engaging portrait of a powerful mind. And yeah, so it's another light and breezy, you know, take on it. I think it was $195. It was marked down to $195, and I'm like, you know, it might be a little bit redundant with the Jesse Norman biography, but I'm going with it. So I can't turn down a book for $2. I mean, you guys, you understand, right? Okay, so next book is The Romantic Revolution, A History by Tim Blanning. And this is a nice little skinny volume that just talks about the Romantic movement in literature, into the intellectual scene. We've got Goethe, Goya, how all these people played into it with their work, their art, their literature. So I'm intrigued. I want to know a little bit more about how that the movement came about. So the Romantic movement presaged the Victorian era. So I'm fascinated by it, and specifically how Germany really was a country that perfected it. And there's a lot of history to indicate that it fed into their notions of nationhood and was actually it had a very poisonous, toxic effect as we entered into the 20th century. But anyway, that's a discussion for another time. This is an easy breezy Saturday night book haul, so keeping it fun, folks. I hope it's fun. Next book is really gonna be a fun read. This one is Melville and Love, The Secret Life of Herman Melville and the Muse of Moby Dick. I bet you didn't know there was a muse for Moby Dick, but apparently there was. And this is by Michael Sheldon. This was put out by Echo Books. That's another great publisher. And I love this. I just love this artwork on the front. It's beautiful. Anyway, it's a love story. It's about Melville's, the lady he was, I should know her name. Uh, Sarah Morwood. No jokes. Okay, none. Anyway, it kind of follows how she believed in him, supported him, in all the years of him writing Moby Dick, trying to sell it, have a publisher or have it published. And it's just a love story, and you see a lot of other highlights and bright lights floating through. We've got Nathaniel Hawthorne, who was a great, great friend of Melville. Their friendship is another beautiful story you should all look into. Oliver Wendell Holmes recently got his new biography. So great stuff here. I'm happy to add this book to my collection. This book is a little different. This will be, I guess, considered straight up nonfiction. I'll talk about it here. Okay, The Maximum Security Book Club, Reading Literature in a Men's Prison by Makita Brotman. This one is just going to be a real feel-good story. Obviously, it's not a happy story. It's about men in prison, but they go through this reading program, and, how literature has the power to change. And I just think it's wonderful. These guys in an institution in Maryland are reading such books as Joseph Conrad's Heart of Darkness, Shakespeare's Macbeth, Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, Nabokov's Lolita. So they're reading some heavy duty literature, and I'm hoping to see that maybe there was some positive change in the men who read these books in the program. Many years ago, this is a personal story, but I tried to get into a volunteer position at a Colorado prison to maybe help generating some type of literacy program or reading program, but unfortunately the organization who was hosting it, they were very ultra, I don't want to say conservative, but they wanted me to sign an agreement saying basically that I agreed with their politics, and who does that? I can understand you wanting to have someone who's going to represent your values, but I don't have to agree to it. And so that was kind of a bummer because I really wanted to help, but I don't fit into anyone's easy categories. I'm Christian, I'm gay, and here we go with the comments, right? So I just want to help people. I did volunteer for a reading program at a library to help folks read, but they paired me up with someone who spoke another language, and the training that I had received was for English speaking individuals who wanted to become stronger readers. So it just didn't. I tried my best, but I am not trained for English as a second language, so I wasn't helping her. I'd like to get back into it, but I definitely need to make sure I'm paired with a person that I can help, in the language that I am, trained in. So anyway, I thought this kind of spoke to me because I really love these type of programs. I think they're so worthwhile, and reading can just change lives. I really believe that. I know it sounds cheesy, but I firmly believe that. Yeah. So anyway, next book goes into a collection that I have. This is Peter Ackroyd. It's his History of England series. I don't know if any of you guys have heard of that. The other bookcase downstairs, the white one behind me in the other videos, has 3 of his books. And this is, I think, the latest one. And I'm missing one, which comes before this one. It's Revolution. This one is Dominion. And this is from the Battle of Waterloo to Victoria's Diamond Jubilee. So, yeah, this is just to complete my collection and to work my way through his History of England. He's fairly well known over in England. He's been on the BBC channels doing different programs. I subscribe to BBC History magazine, so I'm really familiar with Peter Ackroyd. I'm sure maybe a lot of you who are into history and British history are aware of him too. But anyway, so I got this for a song. Okay, the next one is it's also kind of related in a way, I guess, is British history. The life of Katherine Howard, the fifth wife of King Henry VIII, Young and Damned and Fair by Gareth Russell. And in fact, Gareth Russell has a new book coming out. In case you're interested, it is another book yet on the Titanic. Ship of Dreams is what it's called. But I'm interested because I have another book by Gareth Russell, and he's a good writer. He's a good historian, and I had not read about Katherine Howard. I am really intrigued by her. I think I saw this book originally on Steve Donahue's program, so or his channel. So yeah, I saw this online. Oh, and it's decollaged, you guys. Decollaged. I love it. So again, I got this for a great deal, maybe $7. Okay, so here's another writer I've talked about before in one of my earlier videos. Probably like my first video. This is Admiral James Stavridis, Sea Power, the History and Geopolitics of the World's Oceans. So the book I showed first was his latest book on leadership, which basically just has like little small chapters with quotes from people, famous military personages, generals, politicians, and yeah, so I haven't really dipped in my toe into that one yet. Do I have it over here? I thought I might have brought it up. No, it's not, darn it. But anyway, this is the first book I was aware that he wrote. And I am interested in naval history, military history, and also how sea power is crucial to just about any type of balance of powers, even up to the modern day. People, if they think the Navy is irrelevant, they are sadly mistaken. I think the Navy is more relevant than ever, and we need to be aware of that. I think it was a book called Lords of the Sea. I have it over here on my shelf. I'm looking at it. Fascinated me. It was about Athens, back with the ancient Greeks in the 5th century, and how naval power really just made them great. And obviously that happened with the British, right? These things are important, and we need to remember, even with the advent of technology, nuclear submarines, just because they're out of sight, they should not be out of mind. And we need to know what the other countries that we are, kind of in tension with right now, Russia, China, not so sure about North Korea. They're mostly looking at nukes right now. But let me know if you think if you think I'm wrong about North Korea. I need to go check that. But anyway, you guys, so this is Sea Power. I'm losing my train of thought. I'm sorry. I'm hungry. Dinner's almost ready. I'm really excited for this book as well. I love history. I love whether it's on land or water. I love military stuff. I mean, this is it right here. Okay, so I'm kind of like losing my train of thought at the end of this video. I apologize. But this is a big haul, and there's a lot of talking, and I need a cold drink. But let me know if any of these books look interesting to you guys. If you've read any of these, I'd like to chat with you about it. Anyway, I'm not sure whether to squeeze in one more. Probably not. I think I might have lost you guys already. So I do apologize for the long-winded rambling. But again, I want my channel to ease into a more relaxed state where I can be myself. And I hope that's okay with you guys. And yeah, and plus you get to see some of the cool stuff behind me here. I've got my my nice reading chair, leather-backed reading chair. It's a great room. It's cozy. It's cozy. Just waiting for the snow to start falling, the freezing rain, I should say. Okay, I know I need to do a bookshelf tour, so that's going to be downstairs. I'm going to do a shelf or a shelf and a half that looks at not a majority, but most of. That's not true either. You know what? I am screwing this video up. I don't want to edit this. I'm almost done. I have a shelf and a half of Russian history, and I know that Nuno wants to see that, so I plan on doing that probably tomorrow when we are having a ton of snowfall. At least that's what they're telling us. It always ends up changing, but hey, yeah, that's life. Okay, guys, so I'm really gonna go now, and I'm not sure if I'm gonna edit this or not. Please forgive me, have mercy if I don't, okay, because I'm hungry. Anyway, I will talk to you guys soon. Have a good night, BookTube, and take care. Bye.